Sip of Growth number 3. Welcome back, guys. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite series on YouTube. I don't know if it's because I'm sitting down and drinking and answering some great questions, but if you're new here, my name is Dedeyan. Welcome to my channel where we talk about personal development, peak performance, and entrepreneurship. On this episode, once again, what we do is we're going to sit down and answer some of the great questions that I got within my community. We have 3 top questions that's going to come up, but before doing so, let's actually look at the scotch that we're going to drink today, which is actually a whiskey, which is a Satori whiskey Toki. So this is actually a Japanese whiskey, and if I'm not mistaken, this was an award-winning single malt whiskey. And a fun fact that I recently realized that Toki in Japanese means time. So fun fact over there. So let's go ahead and do a little pour, as I already got my drink glass over here ready with my stones to cool it down. So let's taste it. Oh, it smells phenomenal. Oh my God, it tastes as good as it smells. It's been a while that I had this one and it's really good. So that being said, to our success, let's answer some questions. And by the way, guys, this whole series is on Q&A questions. So if you guys have any questions, comment it down below throughout the whole video and you'll potentially be featured in a future video. So let's go. Hey Christopher, I wanted to ask you, how does meditation work and what are the benefits? Also, how do you meditate and how do you know that you're in a state of meditation? Thank you. This was from Sean and he DM'd me on Instagram. So a lot of questions in regards to meditation. And in a sense, meditation is very vast and large. It's like saying, I play sports, right? And then you're like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean you play sports? Like, it's large. What sport do you play? You're like, oh, I play soccer. Okay, what position do you play? Oh, I'm a forward. Okay, are you left wing, right wing? Are you a striker? Oh, I'm a striker. Now that's the correlation of meditation. It's so large. There's this misconception that people might perceive that meditation is just you're sitting down on top of a mountain, cross-legged with your hands like this and your eyes are closed. Now that's a part of it, but it's so much bigger in the whole realm of mindfulness, right? You could be meditating just like I explained, sitting down, legs crossed, just like you could be meditating in the shower. You could do walking meditation. You could do meditating lying down. There's so many variations towards it. Your meditation could even be a particular activity that gets you in a state of meditation, such as working out, such as playing sports or whatever. Now, when we come about the benefits, there's a list of benefits that meditation brings. And for me, when I started meditating, I realized that I wasn't reacting to situations anymore, I was responding to it. So if there was something happening and I got mad at it before meditating, I used to be a bit more snappy. Now I have this moment of almost like slowing down and I'm able to see and I'm able to respond to it in the proper way that I want to respond. So it gives me this understanding that you're in a more controlled environment within your emotions, which is extremely valuable as an individual. So it's kind of like another analogy I give, as you become more and more towards meditation, have that control. It's almost like in the Matrix when he receives the bullet and he kind of bends down super slow and he sees that slow motion bullet and he can move out of it. That's what happens. If you're new into meditation, the way that I suggest, and this is how I figured it out, start with guided meditation. So you could either go on YouTube and type some guided meditation and just follow the guided meditation. Try to do what they're telling you to do. There's some apps that are very interesting as well, from Headspace to Calm, and try starting with that. So the last part of Sean's question over here is, how do you know that you're in a state of meditation? And that's like $1 million question, because the reality of the matter is, there isn't an answer. That's what it comes down to. Meditation is not one specific thing that you're gonna feel. It's not like, hey, I'm enlightened, or oh, I'm having an out-of-body experience. There really isn't a right or wrong way to do meditation. You're gonna realize different things that you're gonna feel. You're gonna realize some moments that you're just in this state of flow. You're gonna realize some moments that you're not gonna be thinking about so many things. You're just gonna be in that present moment. And then there's gonna be other times that you're meditating and you're trying to think about your breath, but then you start thinking about your tasks that you have to do. You start thinking about maybe this financial difficulty that you're in. You start thinking about your family, this, that, and the other. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, I was trying to meditate and think back of your breathing, and then you go back. So the reality is there really isn't a right answer to that. It's just ebbs and flows and just going with it and just feeling it as you're doing it, if that makes any sense in itself. So let's go into the second question over here, which is from Ahmed, and he asks, what is the best way to delegate properly and effectively as a business owner? Now, I love this question, and in fact, I actually did a full YouTube video on how to delegate effectively, which I'll link up, and you guys could go into it and go into more depth. The best way to delegate is to look at different sets of what you need to do first and foremost. So first of all, you have to look at what are the tasks that you have, and we have to figure out what is the first task that you want to delegate. As you figure out what is the first task that you have to delegate within your strengths and weaknesses, obviously you delegate your weaknesses, which is hopefully the strength of the person you're delegating. Then you start looking at this person. How do I find the right person? Now you figured out what is the thing you need to delegate. Then you look at, is this the right person? Do they have the skills? Are they competent at it? Are they motivated towards it? And all of those things make sense. Then beautiful, you found that person. Then it goes into the part of explaining what you need to delegate. Now this is a part that's extremely important. You have to explain what you're delegating, what is the goal. You have to explain when do you need it by, and you have to explain why. What is the purpose behind the delegation that you're doing? This is something that people forget, the why in itself. They always say what it is that you have to do, when you need it by, but they don't tell about the why. So explain to the person you're delegating what's the purpose behind it, because once they know what the purpose, the why is, they're gonna work on it differently. And finally, do follow-ups. So communicate this often, do follow-ups with them. Don't wait until almost at the end of the project to look, hey, where are you at with it? And then realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not what we wanted. Do the follow-ups throughout the whole process. And one other thing that I'm gonna add within this, don't be a helicopter delegator that I call. Don't look over their shoulders, be like, hey, do this, do that. No, trust the person that you're delegating. Let them be creative. Let them run with that idea. Because the whole point of delegating is for you to step back and this person to take care of it so you could do other things. Trust within that process. So that's my ideology within delegation. Like I said, I go so much in depth within the video over here that you guys could click and check out as well. So let's go into the final question. Before doing so, if you guys see there's some value within this video, don't hesitate at all to like, subscribe, hit that notification button as well, and comment down below. Like I said, this whole series over here, Sip of Growth, is a Q&A series, so comment any questions that you guys have about entrepreneurship, peak performance, and personal growth. So this third question is from Amanda, and Amanda actually asked a couple of questions in the previous video, so thank you for sending a question once again over here. So the question is, I find myself overwhelmed by everything that I have to do within a day. Sometimes it may even give to anxiety. I think meditation could help me out, but I don't always have time in between meetings. Any tips? So this is cool that she asked this question, and the first question of Sean was actually about meditation. Amanda, you're spot on. Meditation could help you out immensely, but not only meditation could help you out to kind of appease this stress, overwhelm, and maybe even anxiety when you're looking at your tasks. There's structures that you have to look at. If you have a to-do list and it's just filled up to the brim, that could be overwhelming. What you want to do, this is what I do and what I teach my entrepreneurs as well, pick only 3 things that you have to accomplish within that day. Your top 3 things. And then once you accomplish those top 3 things within your day is a success. You have won. That's it, that's all. And then once your day is done with those 3, you could actually stop your day if you want, or you could continue doing other things. But don't look at the whole within your to-do list, because that is overwhelming. Now, once that's done, another thing I'm going to invite you to do is look at your tasks with the Eisenhower metric, which is essentially 4 quadrants to really figure out what is the most important thing that I need to do right now, what is important, urgent, what is important, non-urgent, what is non-important, non-urgent, what is urgent, important, whatever the case is. There's 4 quadrants. If you look at a task and like, hey, you know what, I could actually push this away or schedule further within the week or schedule another time, it's not as urgent, then that's beautiful. And then the other one, which is urgent but not important, when we're talking about not important for you to do, start looking to delegate that. So we spoke about delegation previously. So first and foremost, look at your task, break it down, figure out what are the ones you need to do, what are the ones you need to delegate, and what are the ones that you could actually push away and do it at a scheduled time that makes more sense within your schedule. Maybe after the day, beginning of the day, end of the week, whatever the case is. Second thing, when we're talking about meditation, one trick that I use, because you did mention that you do not necessarily have time in between meetings, and that makes sense. What I would suggest you to do is some breath exercises. So when you're in a between meetings and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, take your time just to close your eyes and do something that's called a box breathing, which is take a 4-second inhale through your nose, 4-second hold, and then 4-second exhale through your nose. So I'm gonna give you an example right here. So we'd go. Do this as many times as you need within the time that you have. So try that between meetings between a little moment. And as well, I'm gonna invite you to set intentions while you're doing that as well. So if you're just finished a meeting and you're doing that breath work, afterwards, when you're done your breath work, before the meeting, start thinking about, hey, what's the intention that I need for this particular meeting? Am I talking with my boss? Am I talking with my colleague? Am I talking with a client? How am I gonna approach that? Am I talking to a potential client that I wanna sell them a product? Understand what is the goal. Set the intention. As you're gonna do that, your anxiety, the pressure that you put on yourself is going to diminish, and your subconscious mind is going to actually help you to accomplish your goals within that particular meeting. So that's the way I would answer that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and there was some value in it for you that you learned with some of the questions that I answered over here to the best of my abilities. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I almost finished my scotch for this video compared to the other one. So the pour in the beginning was a lot more controlled. So I like this quantity that I poured over here. So once again, this whole video series is a Q&A. So don't hesitate at all to comment any questions you guys have about peak performance, entrepreneurship, and personal development. It would be my pleasure to answer it. And thank you very much for all the support that I've been getting within this, from my Instagram to my YouTube channel over here. So don't hesitate at all. Comment it down below and you'll potentially be answered or featured on the next video. That being said, I hope you guys have a blessed and grateful day.